Hello, everybody. Today we are back to work on little Pearly, the mother of pearl moth dragon. And this crochet pattern is by Holly's Yarn Creations. I love her dragon patterns, they're super cute. And today what we're doing is we're making the small wing. Last week we worked on one of the big wings, which I'm going to try and show you. Hold on. Okay. The big one looks like this. And the smaller one will be more pointy, but it'll be the same colors. We'll be starting out in purple again, and it'll have the same lines on it, just two instead of three, and little colorful designs along the top. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do both small wings today, but we can try. And although I don't always record it, this really is how long it takes to make one of these, at least for me. So that's why a lot of handmade plushies will be quote unquote expensive, especially if they have as many pieces as this one does. It just takes a long, long time and a lot of materials and labor. We're starting just with 6 single crochet in a magic circle. Now, where did I put my needle earlier? Ah, there it is. Okay. Next, we're going to increase around and we're going to keep just increasing in single crocheting in purple for a little while until we get to the end of this border, and then we'll start bringing in the white to transition colors. This is really interesting to me because we are crocheting in the round, but it's that shape, like a little bag. I have a snack with me, so we'll probably just be muting every once in a little while to chew on it. It sort of reminds me of when Michi Mochiber, I don't remember which one it was, but in a recent stream, she was having a snack of seaweed, right? And you could occasionally hear her chewing on it. But apparently, she just had like one piece. The one piece is real of seaweed that she ate the entire stream, like one square of it, because she takes like tiny bites. I was like, okay, I guess now I know how she survives on snacks. I kind of wish I could like zoom in on this more, but this is how it looks so far, a little disc. 6, 9, 10. It's fun to use the little tails of the yarn to stuff this later. This small wing really reminds me of a leaf shape. I'm really kind of curious how purple things evolve in nature because you don't see a ton of purple out there, but they're like there's this one like bright purple mammal whose name I have forgotten. Do you see it on some butterflies? And I wonder if it's like, is it for camouflage? Is it for bees? Because it's something I want to learn more about, but apparently different animals, because they see it in different spectrums of light, colors look completely different to them. So maybe to bees, purple looks like bright blue or something. All right, next we're going to do a ton of increases because this is just the tip of the wing and it goes wider. I've heard that a lot of languages, at least initially, don't have a word for purple because it's the thing that you see so rarely. And I wonder if that's why we call red grapes and red onions red instead of purple, because it's a reddish color. And maybe there just wasn't enough purple things initially to invent a new word for it. It's funny how a lot of projects start out like this. They just look like a little circle. I also really like the colors I'm using, purple and white. I don't like draw with them that often, but I might start doing that just because I think they're pretty. And I'm actually working on another project with these same colors, which is the two-headed cat pattern by Yuli Crochets, I think is how you pronounce it. And what the pattern uses in its examples is black and white, but I don't have a lot of black yarn. So I thought, you see lots of purple at night. Why not use that? Each of the cats represents the day or the night, and I really like how it looks so far. In this row, we're going to start bringing in the white. It was really fun to do the zigzagging on the cat, and it says to make the facial expressions using felt. I have some yellow felt, which I can use for the sun and the moon designs, but I'm not sure about the rest, so I might make like French knots or I might use just scrap fabric that I have. Okay, now we're going to start doing the color swapping. Not too much in this row, but you'll see it more in the next few. I'm trying to figure out what this color combo reminds me of. Maybe it's candy? I mean, this sort of reminds me of like the other side of an embroidery project. Like that's the side nobody's going to see. It doesn't matter if it's a mess. And normally with crochet, you don't see the other side anyway. But this is the side that's going to have a bunch of little loops on it, but that will be completely encased in the wing. You see how we're making these little bumps? This is going to be the switching colors. It's not going to look like bumps once this is over. Okay, we need to do another 4 in this. Then we'll actually start the next row with white. This is how it looks so far, a little oval, because we're going to fold it. Apparently, some people fold pizza slices so they can fit more into their mouth at one time. I'm just wondering how. Some human bodies can survive more oil and grease than mine. Would you believe that after making my other butterfly dragon, which was mostly red, I still have some of that red yarn left? I didn't realize just how much went into one skein, and now I don't know what to do with it. I might just cut it up and use it like for stuffing or another craft, but I want to see if there's anything red I want to make. Okay, now we're going to do 6 in this color. Okay. As we're in the middle of this, it tends to look pretty strange, but it'll look fine once it's folded. All right, now let's another 2 in purple. I feel like I've seen these colors in winter, but I don't see that much purple in winter, so I'm not sure what I'm thinking of. Once we finish this round, it's going to be with 5 stitches of pink, sorry, white, so that we connect to the first stitch of white from this round. We're going to start the next round with 2 stitches of white as well. Okay. I feel like right now, have you ever seen that early blurry image of Saturn? I think it's just a drawing that Galileo saw, and he was like, it's got these weird protrusions. I wonder if the planet has ears. That's what this reminds me of. Why would your first thought be ears? I just don't understand. Human beings are strange. I think it's gonna fold like this, but hold on. Yeah, I think it's like this. We can check later. Here we'll be changing colors much more frequently because we're making little points with the purple. Okay. Now we're gonna do 8 stitches of the white. I think because 'cause we're transitioning more into that being the base color, you're gonna see more of it. Every once in a while, I think in One Piece about how there's 2 characters named Oimo and Kashi, and I don't know why, but their names always make me think of Oreo and cashew, and I don't know why. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, now 2 in purple. This is a time when you even if it's a pattern you've done before, I would recommend taking it slowly and making sure you're reading everything right because there's just so much to pay attention to. All right, now another 2 in purple. We're getting close to the end where we're gonna end with more white. It's getting pretty tangled, so I'm gonna clip it off. And I've saved a bunch of clips already, so it shouldn't be too much trouble to tie off. One, two, three, four, five, six. Then we're going to start with 3 stitches in white to the point where we'll only have 1 stitch in purple here. And that's because we're switching over to white being the main color. And that'll be like the canvas that we do the stitches and other details on. All right, 4 stitches in white. I think these colors kind of remind me of toothpaste, which is not what I wanted, but they look pretty. The cat pattern that I'm working on, which also uses these colors, that has yellow as an accent instead of blue and pink, but I still really like it. And I think it's interesting to see how almost exactly the same color combo, just changing like one thing, that makes it look so different. Next, 9 stitches in white. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This will just be another 1 stitch of purple because these areas here, these are tapering into little points. All right, this will just be another 4. We're almost done the switching. Yeah, next round should be plain white. And we'll just be doing a couple of rounds of single crochet before we start decreasing. Because since these wings are smaller, that also makes them quicker to make. But obviously, they're not going to happen in like 5 minutes. And before we start on those next rows, I might just take a minute to tie all these ends and clip them so that they're out of the way. All right, final 6. I remember this from when I first made this pattern. At this point, it usually looks kind of puckered because I need to tie everything and fold it, but once you do that, it looks fine. I think I always forget how big the wings are compared to the rest of the dragon because this feels really big, but the rest of it is small. Okay. This is what I was saying about the inside looking messy. No one's gonna see this. I did recently get some new markers, which I haven't all used yet, but maybe we could do a stream that's just like trying them all out because I'm pretty sure I have a purple in them that's very close to this. It's not a color I use that often, so I'd be interested to see how it looks. We can set the purple aside for now. I'm not worrying too much about making like really complicated knots for these ends, especially because they'll all be on the inside. But if you're like extra worried about these coming undone, you can obviously do more complicated knots. Once we're done the wings, I might make the head, but I also might make the tiny head wings because I think those are super cute. I'm not sure, but I also have to make like all of the limbs. It's not that many. There's only four, but like when you have to crochet all of those, it can be a lot. So it'll take a little while, but I think this is going to be super cute when it's done. And I think having done this once already is kind of helping because I know what to expect when. Yeah, see, these are the points I was talking about. They remind me of little teeth. Whenever I make creatures like this, I it always kind of makes me think about Pokemon, among other things. And I'm curious if there'll ever be a Pokemon that's like a little bug dragon. I know lots of people want there to be a bug dragon type. I do too. I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been one yet because it seems like something that's really easy and fun to do. And I'm curious how Pokemon would do it because I don't think it would like just be a dragon with bug features. This is how it looks so far. It's going to fold over like this. I don't think it would just be a dragon with like bug features. I think they would be connected. Like maybe it has a proboscis that it uses to like drink stuff up, and then the stuff that it drinks makes it breathe fire or something. Or maybe it's like super shiny because lots of butterflies have shiny wings, but it also looks like a jewel because dragons hoard jewels. I think that would be really cool. All right. Okay. These rounds are both 30 stitches, and that can sound like a lot, but like in the middle of me doing it, it doesn't take that long. So we're gonna do that, and then we're already gonna start making it smaller. This is the widest point of the wing. Something I really want to see once this is done is like, what if you did stuff these wings one day? Because I don't think you have to, but it reminds me of how butterflies, like, you can feel their heartbeat in their wing because they have veins in them. And to us, they look super flat, but I wonder if on the microscopic level, they have like thickness. I wonder if people have made like pictures of butterflies using the mosaic technique to show how all the tiny scales overlap each other. I have a call to go to later, so we'll probably be done once I finish this wing. Another interesting thing about this pattern is it has like a mane on the back, like you see on lions, or kind of like how dinosaurs have spikes on their backs. Some of them do anyway. And I'm not sure if I'll do that. I might leave that detail off. But if I did, see in the example pattern, that and a bunch of other details are in white. But in mine, my base color is white. So I'd have to do it in blue or pink. And in the example pattern, it's also using a very fluffy yarn. Mine is all very smooth, so I wonder if it would look strange. This part of the wing, we're working in multiples of 6. So we're going to do another round of 30 stitches, and then we're going to go down to 24, then 18, then 12, then 6, and then we'll sew it up. I think this kind of design with the points is really interesting because they're obviously not perfect points, but like when I look at them, I go, yeah, that's pretty clearly a triangle. And I understand what it's trying to be. It reminds me a bit of pixel art or how a lot of cross stitching looks. And I wonder what that was like when people were first figuring that out. Because when you look in at the real world, it has so much detail, it has all of these curves. But then when you put it into thread, it becomes like boxy. It can look like a square. It's just hard to replicate. I like how this is looking so far. It reminds me of a little cup. Next, we're going to do all the decreases. Well, we're going to start to. I've seen a lot of people, because I was thinking about Pokemon earlier, this reminded me. I see lots of people when they draw their version of a Mega Flygon. I see lots of people make that a bug dragon type, and I get why that is. It would be cool. But I also kind of want to see, like, what would actual Pokemon do with that? Like, would it be a bug dragon or would it be more of a plane? I see a few people lean into that. Or would they go like it lives in the desert? It's part of the ground. Maybe it should look like it can burrow under the ground even though it flies. Would it go more into being an antlion? Speaking of bugs. I don't know. I remember when I first learned about antlions, I was like, those have to be fictional. Ain't no way those are real. Nope. It's not an ant or a lion, but it is called one. I got this purple yarn without a label too. It was handed down to me. And I kind of want to know what the original color name was because I keep thinking it's like mulberry. Like that's the word that comes to mind when I see it. This white is called Angel. They're both Bernat Baby Bee. I usually don't print out my patterns in color ink just to save on it. Like I can tell what I need to do. It's not super important. All right. This is the widest point. This is why I said this felt like a big wing, because this is a small wing, but this seems pretty wide to me. But so next we're going to do just a round of single crochet, and then we're going to do more decreases, and we're going to keep alternating those things until we're done with the wing. And we're not going to sew it onto the big wing right away, but we are later going to sew both of them onto the body. And I might do that once I've done them, but I might also just wait until I've done all the pieces. This is what I mean about it being flat. It is gonna curve, but it's not gonna be like round. Another color I can kind of think of with this purple is wisteria. And I've seen wisteria, it's not this color, but that's what a lot of like paints and nail polishes or whatever that are purple get called. Another interesting thing about the rows getting shorter is that also means they take less time. So the final stages of a project can actually be pretty quick. The little domes that Flagon has over its eyes, they do look like goggles, and I see why people compare them to aviator goggles. But I also wonder if you could take them in the direction of, it's in the desert and needs to protect its eyes from the sand. When we make the head wings, they'll look a lot like this. They're more rounded than the big wing, but they're obviously much, much smaller. They're like that big. An interesting thing about these wings too is we'll finish this soon, but we kind of sew their sides together like this. And obviously a butterfly's real forewings and hindwings are not like connected, but in the pattern they almost look like they are, and I wonder if that's intentional. Almost done. Next round is going to be all decreases. My other butterfly dragon right now I have priced at $45, but I wonder if I should actually raise it because it took at least as long as this one do. This one will, I just didn't record most of it. And there's so many details, so many hours. Like if I was getting paid by the hour, the price would not be 45. It would be much higher. And I haven't sold a ton of my creative works before, so I'm still in the process of learning about it. But obviously, being paid by the hour is the thing. Guaranteed income should be a thing. And I get like maybe you can't buy $45 things all the time. I certainly can't. But I don't think of it like just like disposable, like you buy it all the time. Like even if you're getting it as like a special thing, like a present, or like I got a new job, time to treat myself. Great. Awesome. It's an occasion. This should end with 6 stitches. Then we're going to crochet across the top by crocheting the 2 sides together. And that will end the base part of the wing. Then we'll be adding the details. Okay, this we are going to leave a long tail for sewing. It's not a mistake. Then we're going to get out some more purple and draw lines from these points all the way up to about here. I feel like I should have more of a method for how I tie off my rows. I don't right now, but I do always do at least a double knot and then I bury it. And if I need to leave a long tail, I pull it out again at a slightly different place so that it doesn't just slip out, like over here. Okay, I should probably get out a pin real quick. Maybe here. Okay. So obviously these need to get clipped a little, but I'm going to tie them off, bury them in here, and then up here we will add the blue and pink details. We're going to keep the same ideas with the big wing, where there's three pink dashes in the middle and then blue ones on the outside. Okay. We have a lot more like vertical space than with the big wing, but I'm going to try and keep the rhythm the same. And this is the top. I feel like this one's a little too tall. Hold on. I might also add more details down here. Okay. I kind of feel like I should make these bigger or something so that this doesn't look like boring. Hold on. Okay. Then we're gonna have blue here, 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 and here. The blue is a bit of a smaller weight than this, which is why I used it for smaller details. I feel like it wouldn't make as much sense for big details. You wouldn't be able to see it. Okay, so these are the pink dashes. Oops. It needs to end about here. That's a little too long. Hold on. I might add some more at the top too. All right, that looks better. I might add a little more up here, or maybe down here. All right, I think that looks better. Might still add some more up here. I'm not sure how this will look, but I want to try it. Yeah, that looks good. Hold on. I might have to just glue this later. Oops, hold on. All right. Whew. This part always reminds me a little of needle felting. Okay, that should be the wing. It reminds me a bit of a watermelon right now with all the seeds. Up here, I didn't use quite enough yarn to make a knot, but I might just glue the ends and then tuck them in. We have the long, long tail to sew this onto the body, and this is how it should look. So once this is done, it'll be up on my Ko-fi for sale, which will be in the description, and I will see you there.